So we'll start with Australian dollar USD. So let's start with the weekly time frame. What do we have here? So last week candle closed bullish. So we had a support here. We also had a resistance at this level. Okay. So this is what we have on the chart right now. Now, if we go by the weekly candlestick formation, we would see that the buyers are showing up in the market. We cannot execute a sell trade with the formation we have on this weekly time frame because last week candle closed bullish. Also, it closed above the pivot of previous week candlestick. If we get the pivot of this candle, we would see that the last week candle closed above the pivots. Let's just get the value of the pivots. To get pivot value of a candle, you add up the high-low close price of the candle, then divide by 3. Whatever value you get is your pivot value. Mr. Richard, you can off your camera. Off your camera, please. Mr. Richard, off your camera. So what I want to do now is get the pivots of the previous week candle. So I'm going to add up the high-low close price of this candle, then divide it by 3, okay? So use my phone calculator. So our pivot value is 0.6404. And when the market is trading above the pivots, it indicates that demand is higher than supply. It indicates that the market is in a bullish sentiment. Okay? If the market is trading above the pivots, it indicates that we are in a bullish market. Okay? This calculator is not responding. 0.6. That value is not correct. Six. So you can see last week candle closed above the pivots. This tells us that we have more buyers in the market. This tells us that demand is higher than supply. Okay, so the market is currently in a bullish sentiment. So you can't jump in and start selling. If you want to sell, a candle must close below this pivot or this support. That is when you will consider selling. A candle must close below this support, this pivot or this support. That's when you will consider selling. And if you are selling, your target would be the next support, which is this. Okay, so if you are selling below this support, your next target should be the previous support level, which is this. Okay, let's go down to daily. So if we go by what we have on the weekly, the trend is bullish based on what we have on the weekly candlestick formation. Let's go to daily. What do we have on daily? Okay, so you can see what we have on daily. What we have on daily contradicts what we have on the weekly time frame. What we have here is a shooting star, which indicates change in trend from bullish to bearish. Okay, so now after the close of this shooting star, if you go down to 4 hour, you could identify a resistance level on 4 hour. So we had a resistance level here after the close of that shooting star. Okay, so if you are considering buying, you should wait for this resistance level to be broken before you consider buying. That's my take on Australian dollar USD. The candle closes below this support, I would be selling Australian dollar USD. And if it closes above this resistance, that would be a buy for me. Okay, so that's my take on Australian dollar USD, because you can see that the bias or the formation we have on the weekly contradicts what we have on the daily. And 4 hour also is supporting daily, right? This is a bearish setup on 4 hour time frame. The daily says sell, 4 hour says sell, weekly says buy. And I believe 1 hour also will support the daily and 4 hour time frame. So daily 4 hour, 1 hour is bearish. So we cannot jump in and buy. If you want to buy, you have to wait for this resistance to be broken. You don't want to wait for the resistance to be broken. You can see this. We have a resistance at this level. And you see this. So if a 4 hour candle closes above this resistance, you will execute your first trade. Okay, so this could be your first entry. This could be your second entry. So if a 4 hour candle closes above this level, I could execute a buy trade. As you can see here on 1 hour, we have a doji, which indicates change in trend from bearish to bullish. And you see that. But before we jump in and buy, we should see price break this resistance. We also had the resistance here. So you should wait for price to break this zone before you buy. I hope that is clear. The next pair we'll be looking at is GBP USD. If Australian dollar USD is bullish, we should expect bullish move on GBP USD2. Okay, because both pairs are positively correlated. So let's start with the weekly time frame. You can see GBP USD is strongly bearish. Last week candle closed strongly bearish, and I think their target is this support. There are a lot of stop losses at this level, so it's likely price will drop to this support level before we see a change in trend or a pullback. Okay, so I would suggest that you wait for price to get to this level. If you are considering buying, wait for price to drop to this level before you consider buying. Now, when price gets to this level, you should see a candlestick formation, a bullish reversal candlestick formation, confirming that the trend is about to change from bearish to bullish. Okay, you don't just jump in because the market has hit this level. There has to be a candlestick formation confirming that the trend is about to change from bearish to bullish. So we can't buy at the moment. We cannot buy GBP USD at the moment. It is still bearish. If we want to buy, we need to get a pivot of last week candle. That's 1.2436. 1.2436. That's the pivot for last weekend. So as you can see, last week candle closed below the pivots. You can see this tells us that the market is in a bearish trend. Okay, this tells us that the market is in a bearish trend, so we cannot execute a buy trade. If we want to buy, this pivot must be broken. That is, a candlestick must close above this pivot. It could be 1 hour candle, it could be 4 hour candle. That is when we'll consider buying. But at the moment, the bears are still in control. Okay, so we either wait for a bullish candlestick to close above this pivot or wait for price to drop to this level, see the formation, wait for the formation of a bullish reversal candlestick. You know bullish reversal candlestick, right? You know the different types of bullish reversal candlestick. You have hammer, you have double bottom, you have doji, spinning bottom, okay? So if you have those candlestick formation at this level, you could consider buying. Okay, but right now, the bears are still in control. Let's go to daily. What do we have on daily? Okay, so you can see on daily, the trend is still bearish. If you apply your trend line, see from this point, so you can see that Euro GBP USD is still bearish. You see that it's still bearish. So we cannot jump in and buy Okay, so if you are considering buying, you should buy above this pivot. Okay, buy above this pivot. Now, what we have here is an inverted hammer, which indicates change in trend from bearish to bullish. But because the body of this inverted hammer is bearish, we would have to wait for the next candle to close bullish. If Monday candle closes bullish, we could buy. If Monday candle closes bullish, that is a buy setup. So one can risk buying. And if the Monday candlestick closes bullish, you know a new support will be formed, right? So if you are buying after the close of the bullish candle on Monday, you can set your stop loss few pips below the support level that will be formed. Okay? So you don't have to wait for a candle to close above this high. Okay? If the Monday candle closes bullish, you could take your first entry. And if another candle closes above this pivot, you take another entry. You execute another trade. I hope that is clear. So that's my take on GBP USD. This is where they are aiming at. You can see this is equal low. There are a lot of stop losses at this level. So they are most likely going to hunt for the stop losses at this level before pushing price up. I hope that is clear. Next pair is USD CHF. Okay, let's look at what we have on 4 hour, please. Let's look at 4 hour. So on 4 hour, we had a support at this level. That support was broken. It became a resistance. Okay, became a resistance. So you should wait for a candle to close above this zone. This should be your supply zone, okay? So if a candle closes above this zone, then you could execute a buy trade. I hope that is clear. But at the moment, the peers are still in control. The peers are still in control. Let's go to USD CHF. Let's start with the weekly time frame. You can see USD CHF is bullish. It's been bullish for close to 2-3 months now, right? So at this point, we had the resistance. This is what is holding price now. This resistance. If you go back here, you would see it was a support here. Some resistance. It became a resistance after this candlestick broke out. So that is what is holding price at the moment. Okay. Also, we had a support here. Okay. So this is holding price now. So if you're to sell, you should wait for a candle to close below the pivot of last week candle. That is when you consider selling, or wait for a candlestick to close below a support on lower time frame. It's either price closes below the pivot or price closes below a support on lower time frame. So let's just get the pivot of last week candle. 0.8977 plus 0.8896 plus 0.87. It's 949. 0.8949. That's our pivot. So these are pivots. So let's go down to daily. The daily also is still bullish, still bullish. This could be their next target. Reason being that there are a lot of stop losses at this level. So they might want to sweep liquidity at this equal high. Okay, so that could be their next target. So it's either price pulls to this high or price breaks this support, sorry, this pivot for us to sell. Okay, so that price pulls up to this level or breaks this support for us to sell. Let's go down to 4 hour. So you can see on 4 hour, the pivot value is a support on 4 hour. Can you see that? The pivot is a support on 4 hour. So we should wait for price to break this level before we consider selling. If a 4 hour closes above this resistance, okay, if a 4 hour closes above this level and there's a retest to this resistance to support, you can buy. Okay. The candle 4 hour time frame closes above this level, you could wait for a retest before you execute a buy trade. And this will be your target. Okay. But if a 4 hour candle closes below this support and our pivot value, you should consider selling. And if you are selling below this level, this should be your target. There are a lot of stop losses at this level. Okay, so that's my take on USD CHF. The candle closes above this level and there's a retest to this resistance on support, I would buy. If 4 hour closes below this support, I would sell. Okay, now if 4 hour closes below this support, I would also go down to lower time frames like 1 hour, 15 minutes to confirm the structure on lower time frame. I could even go as low as 5 minutes to confirm the structure that we have on 5 minutes or 15 minutes time frame. So if it's a bearish structure, I would sell. If it's a bullish structure, that is, if a candle closes above this resistance and on lower time frame like 5 minutes or 15 minutes, we have a bullish structure on that time frame, I would buy. Okay, so I wouldn't just execute a buy trade because a 4 hour candle closes above this level. No, I need to go down to lower time frame to confirm the structure that is on those time frame. And if I'm selling below this level, I want to ensure that 1 minute and 5 minutes or 15 minutes time frame has a bearish structure. That's when I would execute the trade. I hope that is clear. USD card. Let's start with the weekly. So what we have here on USD card is a bearish setup. After the close of last week candle, we had a resistance here. Okay, so this is a bearish setup on USD card. If the price keeps dropping, this will be their target. You can see this will be their target. You can see at this point, it was a previous support, which became a resistance after this candlestick broke out from the support, okay? So if price keeps dropping, this will be the next target, okay? And I'm sure this is likely going to play out this way. So because USD card is bearish, I would be looking for buy setup on GBP USD. Are you with me? I would be looking for buy setup on GBP USD because both pairs are negatively correlated. They are negatively correlated. This is a valid sell setup on USD CAD. Okay, so if you want to sell USD CAD, you should wait for a candle to close below a support on lower time frame, 4 hour or 1 hour. So let's go down to 4 hour to identify supports. So this is our support, 4 hour. But if you look at what we have here on 4 hour, this is a bullish setup, which contradicts what we have on the daily, right? Daily says sell. Okay, this is weekly. Let's go to daily. Okay, daily, we have a support on daily, which looks like a double bottom. If you go to 4 hour, it's a double bottom, which contradicts what we have on the weekly. Weekly is saying sell. 4 hour says buy. Daily says buy. Can you see that? So how do we trade this? Now, if a candlestick closes below this support, you should expect more bearish move on USD CAD. You should expect more bearish move on USD CAD. It means that the weekly setup is going to play out. If there is a breakout from that support, then the weekly setup is going to play out, and this will be the next target. Okay, so we should wait for breakouts from support. We could also get the weekly pivots to know best price to execute a buy trade. We need to get the pivots of last week candle, 1.3638 plus 34 plus. That's 1.3551. 1.3551. That's our pivot. So if you are considering buying, a candle should close above the pivots. Okay, so these are pivots. So a candle should close above these pivots. If you are considering buying, wait for a candle to close above the pivots. Let's go down to daily. That could be a support on or resistance on lower time frame. You can see at this point, it was a resistance. Can you see this? But let's go to 4 hour. Let's see. Okay, so these are pivots on 4 hour. And we had a resistance at this level. So we'll work with this zone. We'll work with this zone. If a 4 hour candle closes above this zone, we want to buy, set our stop loss few pips below the zone. That's below 1.3539. Our stop loss will be few pips below that level. And our first target could be this resistance. This could be your first target. This could be your second target. Okay, so that's my take on USD CAD. Would buy above this zone, sell below this zone. Okay, but like I said, before you execute your trade on 4 hour, based on 4 hour setup, go down to 5 minutes, 15 minutes, ensure that the structure you have on those time frames aligns with the daily 4 hour setup. Okay, don't just execute the trade blindly. Go down to lower time frame to confirm the structure on those time frames. I hope that is clear. Euro USD positively correlated with GBP USD. So let's start with the weekly. Last week candle closed bearish. You can see we had stop losses at this level. I think they've cleared the stop losses at this level. This was the target and they've achieved that. So it's likely we'll see price pull back from this support. But as you know, we can't just jump in and start buying now, right? Because last week candle closed bearish, which indicates that there are still more sellers in the market. So at what point should we consider buying? Let's see what we have on daily. Okay, good. We have a bullish setup on daily, right? And we had a previous support that was broken, which is now a resistance. Okay, so we had this is a bullish setup on daily. Let's go down to 4 hour to identify a resistance on 4 hour. So this is the most recent resistance on 4 hour. So this becomes our resistance zone. So we should consider buying above this zone. Okay, and if what's it called? If a candle closes below this support, you could consider selling. Look at the 4 hour time frame. We already have candlestick formation indicating change in trend, right? This is an hammer, a bearish hammer. The next candle that closed after it is a doji, and we have a bullish hammer after the doji, which indicates change in trend, right? It indicates that buyers are showing up in the market. Okay, so if a 4 hour candle closes above the zone, you can consider buying. Where would be their next targets? This will be the next target. So if you are buying above this zone, the target will be this level. Why? There are stop losses at this level. You have buy stops orders at this level. Okay, so I think Euro USD is going to aim for this level this week. This will be the next target. So that's my take on Euro USD. Buy above this zone. You should consider selling below this zone. You could also apply Fibonacci. Let's go to daily. Let's use 4 hour. Okay. 4 hour, 1 hour. Let's see. We have 1 hour. Okay. So you can take a Fibonacci, apply it from this swing high to this swing low. So anything above 50 is premium. Anything below 50 is discount. So price is currently at discount zone. So we should see price push up to a premium level. Above, that is above 50. So that's where you should set your TP. You can see we have a key level here, the support level turn resistance. So this would be your first TP. This would be your second TP. But like I said, your risk should always determine your reward. Your risk should always determine your reward. So for example, if a candlestick closes, let's say a candle closes above this level. Let's say a candle, 4 hour candle closes above this level, and you decide to buy. If you are setting your stop loss will be around this level, the low of this candle, which is 40 pips, right? So from this point to this point is how many pips? This is 31 pips. It means you can't set your TP at this level because the reward is less than the risk. The reward is less than the risk. So you can't use this level as your TP. So this is 67 pips. So you are risking 40 pips for 67 pips, which is still a good risk reward. Okay, so your risk determines your reward. So before you execute a trade, you should know the risk. And like I've always suggested, never your risk reward should never go below 1 to 1.5. It shouldn't go below 1 ratio 1.5. I hope that is clear. You shouldn't be trading with risk-reward ratio 1 to 1. If you are trading with risk-reward ratio 1 to 1, you cannot be profitable. You'll just be struggling in the market. If you want to be consistently profitable, your risk-reward must not go below 1 ratio 1.5. By that, I mean, for every $1 you are risking, you are expecting a reward of $1.5 minimum. Minimum. Okay? USDJPY is next pair. Let's start with the weekly time frame. So it's obvious USDJPY is bullish. You can see it's in a bullish trend. It has been forming series of what? Is at high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This tells you that USDJPY is in a bullish trend. It's a bullish trend. We have a resistance here. So if price gets to this resistance and we have a bearish reversal candlestick at this level, we could consider selling. But at the moment, the bulls are still in control. We cannot sell. If we want to sell, there has to be a break of support. Price must break out from the support. So on the weekly time frame, this will be our support. Now we don't want to wait for the weekly candle to close below a support before we sell. Price would have gone far. So we go down to lower time frame to identify. Okay, so on daily also, it's our support on daily. You can see at this point it was a resistance on support. At this point also it was a resistance on support. Let's go down to 4 hour. Okay, good. On 4 hour, you can see we have this is a support, resistance on support. We also had a resistance on support here. And you can see on 4 hour, what do we have here? This is an angry man, which indicates change in trend from bullish to bearish. And you see that. So if a 4 hour candle closes below this support, you might want to risk selling USDJPY. If a 4 hour candle closes below this support, let's go down to 1 hour. You can see what we have on 1 hour. Also on 1 hour, we have a support at this level. Okay. At this level, we have stop losses at this level. They might want to hunt for the stop losses at this level. A lot of retail traders would have executed trades and their stop losses will be at this level. So they might want to hunt for the stop losses at this level. But if a 4 hour candle closes below this support, you might want to risk selling USD JPY. But if 4 hour closes above this resistance, then you expect USD JPY to continue with its bullish move. Okay? Which other pair is left? There's still one more pair. New Zealand USD. So the weekly. Add the support here. Add the resistance here. So you break below the support, be a sell. The 4 hour candle closes below that support. You could just wait for a retest before you sell. If the 4 hour candle closes above this resistance, you could also wait for a retest before you buy. Let's see what we have on daily. We had a resistance here on daily. We had supports. So it's either price breaks out from this support or breaks out from this resistance. Let's go to 4-hour. Okay, so this is the most recent resistance on 4-hour time frame. So you should wait for price to break out from this resistance. But see, from this point, we could say that USD, New Zealand USD has been in a range. It has been in a range. So we should wait for breakout from the range, the high of the range or low of the range, which is this. That is when we consider buying or selling. There has to be a breakout. This is not a good zone to buy or sell. Where prices at the moment is not a good zone. There has to be a breakout. This indicates that neither buyers nor sellers are in control. That's what a ranging market indicates. Okay, neither buyers nor sellers are in control. So we should see price breakouts. Price breakouts from this resistance, it indicates that the buyers or the bulls have overpowered the bears. And if a candle closes below this level, if there's a breakout from the supports, it indicates that the bears have overpowered the bulls, so we can risk selling. I hope that is clear. So the last instrument to be looking at is gold. If there's any pair you want us to look at, please drop it as comments. Okay. So this is gold. Let's start with the weekly. What do we have here? We had support here. We have stop losses at this level. Okay. We also have stop losses at this level and also at this level. Okay, so there are stop losses at this level. So it's either price will aim for these levels or aim for this level, this equal low. That's what is going to happen this week. See that price aim for these highs or this low. Okay, so this is what we have on the weekly. That's what we have on the daily. This is an hammer indicating change in trend from bearish to bullish. So after the close of this hammer, we had a support here, right? These are most recent supports. Let's go to 4-hour. What do we have on 4-hour? Oh, you can see what we have on 4-hour. 4-hour confirms a bearish setup. Market tested this resistance and there was a strong rejection from that level, you can see. So this closed as a doji. Doji indicates change in trend, and the next 4-hour candle closed as bearish. This is a sell setup. This is a sell setup. But before you execute a sell trade, you could see price pull back because there are stop losses at this level. A lot of retail traders would have executed sell, so they might want to hunt for their stop losses at this level. Okay, so we could see price pull back into this zone. Okay, so this is the area I'll be considering selling gold. Price pulls back into this zone, and I have a bearish reversal candlestick formation at this level. I would sell. Let's see what we have on 1 hour. Okay, so on 1 hour, I have a support here. Okay, so if 4-hour closes below this support, I would sell gold. Okay, so it's either price pulls back into this zone for me to sell, or 4-hour candle closes below this zone. Sorry, this support. We also identify this previous supports. So if 4-hour candle closes below this zone, I would sell. And my target would be at this relative equal low. Okay? There are a lot of stop losses at this level that need to be cleared. So if I'm selling below this level, this would be my CP on gold. So I expect to see a bearish reversal candlestick form at this zone. But if there's a breakout from the zone, if a 4-hour candle closes above this zone, then we could see gold continue with its bullish move. I hope that is clear. GBP JPY. Okay, let's look at GBP JPY. That'll be the last step for tonight's session. So what we have on the weekly looks like a bearish setup, right? We have several candles formation here indicating change in trend, right? So what we have here looks like a bearish setup. But if you go back here, you would see that we had a resistance, which became a support after this candlestick broke out. And that's what is holding price at the moment. And you see that. And if you look at the structure we have on the weekly time frame, you can see that GBP JPY is in a bullish structure. What we have is a bullish structure, right? So price pulled back to this. This is a higher high, right? Pull back to this higher high, and there was a support at that level. And you see that. So that support must be broken for us to consider selling. Okay, so this is the supports that formed after the close of Friday candle. So if the 4-hour candle closes below that support, you might want to risk selling GBP JPY. If 4-hour closes below this support, you might want to risk selling GBP JPY. Let's go down to 4-hour. So on 4-hour, we had a resistance. This level. Okay, had a resistance at this level. So you can sell below this support, buy above this resistance. Buy above this resistance. Sell below support. Let's go to 1 hour. See that GBP JPY has been in a range since the 11th of September. GBP JPY has been in a range. Let's see that. Okay, so you could also identify the resistance on 1 hour. So if you don't want to wait for price to get to this level before you buy, 4-hour candle closes above this level. Now I want to take a first trade on GBP JPY if 4-hour candle closes above this level, because if you consider the risk involved in executing at this level, this is about 71 pips. 71 pips. Okay. If you enter above this level, maybe your risk will be as low as, let's say, between 30 or 40 pips. If you execute above this level, your risk will be reduced to 30 or 40 pips. So personally, if I'm to trade GBP JPY, this will be my first entry. Stop loss will be the low of this candle. Okay. That will be my first entry. Then my second entry will be a breakout from this resistance. At the moment, GBP JPY is neither bullish nor bearish. It is neither bullish nor bearish. Wait for breakouts from support before we sell, or breakout from resistance before we buy GBP JPY. So that will be all for tonight's session. Let me take your questions. If you have any question, you can unmute your mic. Chief Unaya, do you have any question? Unmute your mic. Any question from you, Chief Unaya?
Good evening, sir.
Evening.
Sorry, it's been a while. I don't normally come for class.
Okay.
It's due to some challenges like that.
It's
and
okay.
Also school.
It's
yes.
Okay.
In today's class, I overheard you calling a particular name, pivots. You know, the last time I attended the class, that pivot is not we did not use the word pivot. I don't know how it works.
But you saw how I use it, right?
Yeah, I saw how you use it, but I need more light. Not that clear, sir.
Okay, pivot is used in defining market sentiment, or let me say market trend. Okay. Now, to get the pivot value of a candle, all you have to do is add up the high, low, close price of the candle, then you divide it by 3.
Okay.
Whatever value you get is your pivot value. If the market is trading below the pivot, it indicates that the market is in a bearish sentiment.
Okay.
And if the market is trading above the pivot, it indicates that the market is in a bullish sentiment. And if the market is in a bullish sentiment, you want to look for buy setup. If the market is in a bearish sentiment, you want to look for sell setup. Okay? Now, the time frame, the best time frames to apply pivots is the daily, weekly, monthly.
Okay. Daily, weekly, monthly. Okay.
You can use it on 4 hours, but the time frame I recommend is daily, weekly, and monthly. Okay. So if you're a day trader, you want to make use of the daily time frame. If you're a swing trader, you want to make use of the weekly time frame. If you're a position trader, you want to make use of the monthly time frame.
Okay.
I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Any other question?
No, I'm clear.
Thank you. Mr. Makewa, a few minutes, I will meet you. Infinite Smarts. If you're the one using Infinite Smarts, do you have any question? You can unmute your mic. Infinite Smarts, do you have any question? No question. Your name, please. Your name. Your name. Michael. Okay. All right. You can mute your mic.
I want to ask about the pivot of
You want to ask what?
About the pivot, but you have cleared me.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Jerry, do you have any question? Mr. Jerry, if you have any question, unmute your mic.
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. All right. Yeah, mute your mic.
Yeah.
Mr. John, do you have any question?
Good evening, sir. Yeah, I don't have any question for now, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Richard.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, Mr. Richard. Do you have any question?
Yes, sir. Please don't me finish. I wasn't clear about that pivot.
I just explained how to use the pivots. In subsequent classes, I'll still use the pivot. So just keep attending the classes. Okay?
Okay, sir.
You could also do
Thank you.
a session on Google to know how to use the pivot. Okay? But in subsequent classes, I always use pivots analysis. So just keep attending the classes.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Makinwa.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Recording in progress.
Good evening. Please, question is
Sir?
I said on the number of peers you are, you know, you try times analysis like 2, 3, 4 peers.
I can't tell you clearly. I don't know. Is it my network or your network?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
I can't.
Is it clear now? Okay, let me type it.
Go on. I can hear you now. Go on.
Okay. Yes, my question is on the number of peers we advise us to focus. In cases where I'll do like this analysis, but before I jump in to here,
I can't tell you.
there
Please
will
drop
be a
it.
move.
Drop it in the comments, please. Drop your question in the
Okay.
comments, please. The number of pairs advised. You mean the number of pairs you should trade? The number of pairs you should trade is dependent on your capital. Okay? It depends on your capital. You're advised not to risk more than 1%, maximum 2% on every trade you execute. Okay? Don't risk more than 1%, maximum 2%. When you become consistently profitable, you can increase the risk to 3%, 4%. But as a beginner, you should start with 1% or maximum 2%. So let's say you have $200. 2% of $200 is $4. Okay, 2% of $200 is $4. Okay, now what is the maximum risk, market risk you take on the trade? Now it's your strategy that will define the risk. For example, the strategy that I use does not accommodate more than 40 pip risk. So it depends on your strategy too. So if the maximum risk is 40 pips and I'm to risk 2% of my $200, okay? Let's say I'm risking 2%. That is how much? $4. It means that I cannot trade more than 0.01 lot size. And it has to be one pair. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. So if the risk is 40 pips and I'm willing to lose 2%, which is $4, it means the lot size I would apply is 0.01 lot size. And I would only execute on one pair. I will only focus on one pair. If I execute 2 trades on different pairs, it means I'll be risking $8. That is 4% of my capital. So if you are comfortable losing 4% on a daily basis, fine. Our risk appetite differs, okay? If you are comfortable losing 4%, fine. If your strategy accommodates maximum of 20 pip, it means you can execute 2 trades. So on each pair, you would risk $2, right? If your strategy accommodates maximum of 10 pips, it means with your $4, 10 pips, you can execute 4 trades using 0.01, right? 4 trades using 0.01. So if a trade goes against you, that's $1 on each of the pairs. You can also decide to just apply 0.04 on just one pair. So 0.04 with 10 pip risk is $4. So you can decide to trade 2 or 3 pairs or just focus on one pair. I hope that is clear. But sometimes as a beginner, it's best you focus on one, maximum 2 pairs. Okay? 1 or 2 pairs. Focus on 1 or 2 pairs. Or if you want to trade the seven major currency, this is what you should do. If you don't have much capital, do your analysis on a daily basis. Choose the pair that gives you the best setup, that has a high probability of going in your direction. So you can analyze the 7 pairs, but from that 7 pairs, just choose 2 pairs. I hope you are following, because all these pairs are either positively correlated or negatively correlated. So it makes no sense trading all the pairs. So if you analyze GBP USD and you think the setup on GBP USD looks okay than Australian dollar USD, pick GBP USD and trade it. Or probably the risk on GBP USD is less than the risk on Australian dollar USD. For example, if you're to risk $4 on a trade, and on GBP USD, you are seeing a 50 pip risk on GBP USD, you know that trade is not for you. Because if you execute that trade, you will lose $5 if the trade goes against you. But if you go to Australian dollar USD and the risk on Australian dollar USD is like 35, 40 pips, that is the trade you should execute. Because it is within your risk parameter, your risk limits, your risk appetite. Are you following? So you can analyze all the pairs, but just choose 2 that you trade for that day. I hope that is clear. You don't have to trade all pairs, please. Just choose 1 or 2 pairs. My preferred pairs is Australian dollar USD, Euro Aussie. If I don't see a good setup on those pairs, sometimes I will trade gold or USD JPY. That's if there are no good setup on Australian dollar USD and Euro Aussie. I'll look at gold and USD JPY. I hope that is clear. Does anyone have a question on this? Let me unmute everyone. If you have any question on what I just shared. So you can unmute your mic. If you have any question.
Hello, sir.
No question from me.
Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you for the value. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you do a daily and light daily before you pick a trade. The same way you do this weekly market outlook. That's what
Please, there is noise at
do
your end.
you
There is noise at your end. Can you
hear me now, sir?
move away from that noise? Move away from that noise so that I can hear you clearly.
Okay, let me tell you.
Move away from that noise. There is noise at your end. Now I can't hear you. Does anyone have a question? Just submit your mic if you have any question on what I just shared on risk management.
Sir, you know.
Okay.
What I want to ask is concerning you know we did analysis based on weekly, daily, then now go down to 4 hours on and 1
Yeah.
ask if for instance now after this after tomorrow's trade, like after tomorrow, you're supposed to come do out the previous day, which against Tuesday. That is against tomorrow, which next day.
What's
That is
happening? I
based
think
on
my network that is
I'm
not
a day
stable.
trader.
Please repeat your question again.
Yes, I said back. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. I said the analysis we did today actually was on weekly, then that daily, down to 4 hours and 1 hour.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Yeah. Then now, as a day like me now, I'm a day trader. After tomorrow's trade, after tomorrow's market, which started today by 10, and also will close tomorrow by 10, which is Monday markets.
Yeah.
Hope I'm supposed to come back to analyze the markets of that morning.
Yes.
Before knowing my fit of Tuesday, right?
Yes. Yes. The day trader. Every day you should analyze the markets using the daily candle. Every day if you're a day trader.
Okay. I want to ask again, if for instance, a trader, after analyzing the week, that is week, the week candle and the day, also for which hour is best for a way trader to execute his trade? Is it 1 hour or daily?
Once you know the trend, the weekly time frame is to know the trend for the week. Okay. Once you've been able to define the trend for the week, every trade you would execute on lower time frame should align with the weekly trend.
With the weekly trend.
Okay, it is the weekly time frame that defines the trend for the week. Okay, so any trade you're going to execute on daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes should align with the weekly trend. Yes.
The weekly. Okay. All right.
I hope that is clear.
Yes. It's clear.
Any other question? Emmanuel. Mr. Said, do you have any question? Mr. Emmanuel. You are not in a noisy environment.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Said.
My bias is just on sir, good evening, sir.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I think your network is poor. I can't tell you. You can type
Hello,
it.
good evening, sir.
Good evening.
You hear me?
It's not stable.
Maybe it's keeping me. I'm talking about Euro GPP.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You can type it. Be great if you can type it.
Okay, sir.
I think that will be all for tonight's session. There are no questions.
It's
Can you type it, Mr. Said? Just type it. Mr. Said, I would need to go off now, okay? I appreciate you for your participation in tonight's session. I wish you all a wonderful night and a profitable trading week. This week, we are expecting several major news from the different countries. I posted it to you guys. You saw from Tuesday, there are several major news. So this week will be very volatile. The market will be very volatile this week. So we want to be conservative this week. Don't be aggressive this week. Okay? Ensure that you apply good risk and money management. Always use stop loss on all your trades. Okay? Irrespective of the fact that there are several major news to be released this week, you should trade your setup. Trade your setup. Execute your trading plan, irrespective of the fundamentals. Okay? Execute your trading plans. Okay? Let me attend to this question. Yes. Okay. From Emmanuel, wanted to know the way you analyze the weekly market outlook. It is the same way you make your analysis before you enter a trade during the weekdays or anything else. Once I identify the trend on the weekly time frame, now for example, I use pivots to define the trend. I also use structures, market structure, to know the trend on the weekly time frame. Then on lower time frame, your support and resistance are for entries. So if my bias on the weekly is bullish, I want to look for a breakout from resistance on 4-hour or 1-hour time frame. Okay, breakout from 4-hour. Now I could identify my support and resistance on weekly, daily, and 4-hour. Okay, so once the trend on the weekly is bearish, I want to look out for breakout from support. If the trend is bullish, I want to look out for breakouts from resistance. So resistance and support is for entry. You don't use resistance and support to define the trend of the market. You use it for entries. So it's either when price gets to a resistance level, there's a rejection from that level, there's a retracement from that level, or there's a breakout from resistance for us to buy, or it breaks the support, right, for us to sell, or when price gets to a support level, there's a rejection, a pullback from that level. So you use your resistance and support for entries, okay? But if you want to define the trend, you use market structure or pivot points, or which other strategy can you use? Those two you can use in defining the trend of the market. And also candlestick pattern, okay? Those are the tools you use in defining the trend of the market. Candlestick pattern, market structure, pivot point. Those are the three that I use, okay? Then entries is support and resistance. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Emmanuel, I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. There is no special strategy, okay? No special strategy. Okay. Thank you all for your participation. I wish you all a wonderful night. Most likely on Tuesday, we'll meet on Tuesday. Our next session
Thank
will
you,
be
sir.
on Tuesday. It could be in the morning or it could be in the evening. Okay, I will notify you guys. It could be in the morning or evening. I appreciate you all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome, sir. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.